What if I shared with you that one of the most suggested activities past 60, daily walking, could actually be leaving you weaker, not protected? That likely sounds odd. After all, walking is meant to be the ideal activity, correct? It's easy, it's gentle on joints. Medical professionals suggest it, and countless mature individuals depend on it as their primary, sometimes sole type of activity. And let me be completely honest, walking is beneficial. But here's something that surprised even me after years working in mature adult wellness and movement. A 2019 investigation from the University of Waterloo discovered that regular walking engages only roughly 32% of the rear muscle, the biggest and most powerful muscle in your system. That means almost two-thirds of one of your most vital strength muscles is hardly being utilized. Even more startling, the investigators discovered that individuals who depended solely on walking kept losing muscle steadiness and defensive strength year following year even though they remained active. That's not an error. And what amazed researchers most was this. The individuals who believed they were being the most cautious were frequently the ones losing strength the quickest. But here's what truly counts and why you must hear this today. The number one activity we'll demonstrate in this content is so straightforward, so fundamental, and so dismissed that most individuals never question what occurs when they don't perform it. And silently over time, that's how steadiness vanishes. That's how rising from a seat becomes harder. That's how freedom gradually diminishes without anyone recognizing the precise moment it started. Today, we're going to alter that. Before we begin, I'd appreciate knowing what's your name and where are you viewing from. We've got an incredible group here from California to Kansas, Florida to Oregon, and we genuinely examine every response. So whether you're 60, 70, or even 80 plus, you're not isolated. You are part of something greater. A movement of individuals who believe aging should be empowering, not restricting. Share your name and location below and greet someone else in the responses because community is one of the strongest things you can develop at any stage. Today, we're sharing 5 crucial activities that every person past 60 should understand, particularly if you desire to remain strong, steady, and self-sufficient. These movements are supported by genuine research, created with joint protection in mind, and concentrated on rear muscle strength, one of the most vital but most overlooked areas in mature fitness. We'll work backward from number 5 to number 1. And believe me, the initial activity we present might sound fundamental, but the final one will astonish you most. Let's begin from the foundation up, literally. Number 5. Steps ups. The actual life strength assessment you didn't realize you were missing. On the surface, elevated steps sound harmless, almost like simply walking with a little additional lift. Most individuals wouldn't even view it an activity. After all, we step onto curbs, into vehicles, onto stairs daily. It's no significant matter, correct? But here's what most individuals don't grasp past 60. Your capacity to step upward using one leg at a time is among the most crucial signs of practical strength and tumble danger. And if you haven't been exercising it, you're probably losing it. You understand, steps-ups challenge your rear muscles and the steadying muscles surrounding your hips and center. These are the muscles that assist you take stairs without grasping a rail, rise from a low seat with assurance, and catch yourself if you stumble. But if your system hasn't been using those muscles deliberately, they begin to deactivate quietly, gradually, without discomfort, until one day you question why you feel wobbly. A 2021 investigation from the University of Florida discovered that people past 60 who practice elevated step activities just twice weekly for 6 weeks enhanced single leg strength by 27% and stair taking steadiness by 33% without using heavy resistance or equipment. The issue isn't just aging. It's not challenging your system in the manner daily existence requires. A protected version for people past 60. Use a low platform or step 6 to 10 inches elevated. Position your complete foot on the step. Press through your heel as you raise. No jumping, no momentum. Hold a wall or chair for steadiness. Perform 2 to 3 rounds of 8 lifts per leg, 2 weekly. And here's the finest part. Every elevated step you perform isn't just activity. It's a signal to your nervous network that states, I'm still powerful. I can still rise. Number 4. Glute kickbacks. The tiniest motion with the greatest effect on your posture. It's just a small leg raise. How powerful could it truly be? That's what numerous individuals think when they observe this movement. It appears so straightforward, so gentle that most individuals either avoid it or perform it without much concentration. But that tiny raise could be the distinction between walking upright and walking in discomfort. Here's why. As we mature, among the initial muscle functions we lose is the capacity to extend the hip without overusing the lower spine. That means rather than using your rear muscles to drive your steps, your system begins compensating with tight hip muscles, overworked leg backs, and pressure in the lower spine. Rear leg extensions are created to retrain your nervous network to inform your mind. This is the muscle we desire activating first. The large rear muscle is your strength source for walking, taking stairs, exiting a seat, and if it's dormant, everything else begins working excessively hard. An investigation in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy discovered that focused rear muscle activation, including extensions, enhanced hip extension management, walking assurance, and steadiness in people past 65 in just 4 weeks. Let that register. No facility, no resistance, just intelligent, concentrated movement. How to perform it protected at home. Stand behind a solid chair or counter. Lightly hold for steadiness. Keeping your spine straight, raise one leg straight behind you. Don't curve your lower spine. The motion should originate from the rear muscle. Hold at the peak for 1 to 2 seconds. Tighten and return. Perform 10 to 12 lifts per leg, 2 to 3 rounds. This isn't about how elevated you raise. It's about how effectively you link to the correct muscle. Even without any gear, glute kickbacks can assist restore strength, posture, and assurance, one small raise at a time. Number 3. Glute bridge. The most powerful motion you can perform lying flat. Lying on the ground doesn't seem like activity. That's something I hear constantly from mature people. We're trained to assume that movement must be quick, sweaty, or complex to be powerful. But here's a quiet reality. One of the most powerful strength developers for your hip, spine, and posture can be performed lying flat. It's named the glute bridge, and it's not just for facility members or competitors. It's for anyone who desires to stand higher, decrease spine discomfort, and move with more comfort past 60. So, why is it so crucial? As we mature, numerous individuals lose the capacity to activate their rear muscles without also straining the lower spine. The mind forgets the proper activation sequence and we start depending on the spine or leg backs to perform the work our rear muscles were designed for. The rear muscle lift restores that link. When performed properly, it develops strength in the large rear muscle, enhances posture by reinforcing the posterior network, trains the system to raise using the hips, not the spine. A medical trial released in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy followed people past 55 who included rear muscle lifts to their practice. After just 8 weeks, they experienced a 42% decrease in persistent lower spine discomfort and a 35% enhancement in movement scores. That's without medication or surgery, just mindful movement. Here's how to perform a protected glute bridge at home. Lie on a mat or solid surface. Bend your knees, feet flat on the ground, hip distance apart. Keep arms relaxed at your sides. Tighten your rear muscles and raise your hips only until your system forms a straight line from shoulders to knees. Skip curving your lower spine. Hold at the peak for 2 to 3 seconds. Tighten the rear muscles. Lower gently. Repeat 12 to 15 lifts, 2 to 3 rounds. Optional suggestion: position a cushion or block between your knees to remain aligned and engage more steadying muscles. This movement may appear gentle, but it teaches your system how to hold itself from the foundation upward. Number 2. Seated band separations. The invisible muscle that shields every step you make. How much can pressing your knees apart while seated truly accomplish? Honestly, more than most individuals ever grasp. This small appearing motion is among the most powerful tools for developing hip steadiness, tumble prevention, and knee defense, particularly past 60. It focuses on a portion of your system that seldom receives attention, the side rear muscles, particularly the middle and small rear muscles. These muscles don't receive attention like the large rear muscles do, but they perform a vital role every time you stand on one leg, even for a moment, shift your weight, or recover from a stumble. When these muscles weaken, as they frequently do from sitting, aging, or absence of use, your system begins to sway side to side with each step. That hip sway may appear subtle initially, but it causes misalignment in the knees, additional pressure on the lower spine, and eventually elevated tumble danger. Actually, an investigation released in the Aging and Balance Journal discovered that hip separation strength, your capacity to press your knees outward, was the #1 indicator of tumble recovery success in people past 65. Let that register. Not reactions, not vision, not walking pace. The strength of this invisible muscle area, your side rear muscles, mattered most. Here's how to perform this movement protected at home. Sit on a solid chair with your feet flat on the surface. Position a light resistance band just above your knees. Keep your knees bent and hip distance apart. Gently press your knees outward, keeping feet planted. Hold the broadest point for 1 to 2 seconds. Then return with management. Repeat 12 to 15 lifts, 2 to 3 rounds. Suggestion: the more slowly you move, the harder your rear muscles work and the more management you regain. It might not appear dramatic, but every time you press your knees outward, you're building the very muscles that keep you walking upright and standing powerful. Number 1. Elevated rear leg bend. The most undervalued strength motion for people past 60. This sounds far too advanced for someone my stage. That's the initial reaction most individuals have when they hear the name elevated rear leg bend. And honestly, I don't fault them. The name sounds like something from an Olympic training facility, not something you'd discover in a living space workout for mature people. But here's the reality. This is the single most powerful, practical, and actual life rear muscle builder most individuals past 60 are never taught, and it's costing them more than they understand. Here's what makes this motion so unique. It compels your large and middle rear muscles to activate while also enhancing your steadiness, center stability, and body awareness, your system's capacity to sense where it is in space. That means better stair management, better tumble recovery, and a more balanced, assured stride. Most activities don't exercise your system to stabilize on one leg, but actual life requires it constantly. Walking, turning, reaching, stepping off a curb, all require single-leg management. Yet, when we skip this kind of challenge because it seems too difficult, we never provide our system a chance to rebuild what it's losing. According to Dr. Andrew Lockcatch, a leading movement specialist specializing in aging people, the elevated rear leg bend is among the most powerful methods to restore balance, fix walking patterns, and rebuild hip strength in mature adults. In medical practice, it's been used to reverse hip instability, enhance walking patterns, and even eliminate dependence on walking aids and supports in some mature clients. The greatest risk, not the movement itself, but skipping it completely, because when one leg becomes weaker, you transfer more weight to the stronger side, overload one knee or hip, and form an imbalance that causes tumble injuries and lasting discomfort. Here's how to perform a protected version at home. Stand roughly 2 feet before a solid chair or low bench. Position the top of one foot behind you on the chair. Use another chair or wall for assistance. Gently bend your front knee and lower down only as far as comfortable. Keep your chest raised and don't allow your front knee to fall inward. Press through your front heel to return to standing. Begin with 6 to 8 lifts per leg, 2 to 3 rounds, body weight only. Adjustment suggestion. If steadiness is a challenge, decrease the depth and use assistance. Management matters more than distance. I've witnessed this movement transform mature people. One client in her late 60s who had been skipping stairs for years began performing adjusted rear leg bends. Within 8 weeks, she was taking a complete flight, no railing. She didn't just gain strength, she gained assurance in her own system again. And that's what this is truly about. Not pursuing youth, but reclaiming the strength to remain you. Current medicine is powerful, but it's not flawless. And past 60, more isn't always superior. You don't require running long distances. You don't require lifting heavy resistance. And you certainly don't require keeping pace with young people at the facility. Because here's the reality most individuals never hear. At this stage of existence, your system doesn't reward intensity. It rewards consistency. It's not about performing more. It's about performing what counts. And what counts now is developing strength that holds the manner you exist. Exiting a seat without using your arms. Walking assuredly even on irregular ground. Catching yourself if you slip and remaining upright. The rear muscles aren't just about posture. They're not just about strength. They're about freedom. And that freedom originates from activating the muscles your system forgot in methods that are protected, intelligent, and particular to this season of existence. So next time someone states, just go for a walk, it's sufficient. You'll understand better. Walking is wonderful, but it's only the beginning. Genuine prevention doesn't start at the medical office. It starts when you reconnect with your system and select movements that rebuild trust, not just motion. So ask yourself before any new assessment, treatment, or trendy workout, what occurs next if this doesn't assist? And then remember, you already possess the tools. You already possess the wisdom. Now you just require the movement to match. Now, we'd appreciate hearing from you. Which of these 5 activities surprised you most? Have you ever battled with steadiness, spine discomfort, or weakness and realized it wasn't just aging after all? Your account might be precisely what someone else requires to read today. So, share a response below. We examine every single one. And if you're part of this growing movement where stage means strength, not slowing down, we'd be honored if you press the approval button, distribute this content, and subscribe for more. Because your next chapter doesn't begin at the medical office. It begins when you move.